Regret. If I could go back, I wouldn't change everything, but I'd change that one thing, you know, the thing that still keeps me awake some nights when the room is quiet and my mind starts replaying the past, like an old film that won't stop flickering. Regret. It's not a scream, it's a whisper that never leaves. I tell myself I've moved on, but regret doesn't care about timelines. It hides in the little moments, in a song I skipped, a message I didn't send, a chance I was too scared to take. People say everything happens for a reason. Maybe that's true, but sometimes the reason hurts. There was a time I had everything lined up, the words I wanted to say, the person I wanted to become, the life I thought I was building, and then one choice, one hesitation, one fear shifted everything. Funny how a single moment can echo through the years. I remember the look on their face when I walked away, pretending I didn't care. That look, it still visits me in dreams. Only there, they don't turn away. They ask, why didn't you fight for me? And I have no answer. Because I didn't fight, I froze. I thought I had time. But time has a cruel way of running out before you realize what matters most. They say regret is proof you cared, but sometimes it just feels like punishment for realizing it too late. I wish I'd called back. I wish I'd said, I'm sorry. I wish I'd said anything instead of pretending silence was strength. You ever look back and hate the version of yourself that didn't know better? The one who thought pride was protection? The one who didn't say, I love you, because it felt safer to keep it inside? Yeah, that's regret. It doesn't come from what others did to you, it comes from the things you never did for yourself, for them, for the moment that mattered. I've replayed conversations in my head so many times, I know them by heart. Only this time, in the memory, I say the right thing. I choose differently, and for a second it feels like peace. But then reality taps me on the shoulder, and the world reminds me you can't rewrite what's already written. You can only speak the truth now. Sometimes regret isn't even about people. Sometimes it's about the person I could have been, the dreams I talked myself out of, the versions of me that never got the chance to exist because I was too afraid to fail. I think that's the deepest kind of regret, when you realize you were the only one standing in your way. There's a quote I once heard: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. But whoever said that never had to live with regret, because imagination is where regret lives. It builds a home there, in the what ifs, the almost, the maybe one days. I wish I could tell you that time heals it. The one morning you'll wake up and it's all fade. The faces, the choices, the ache. But no, time doesn't erase regret. It just teaches you how to carry on without breaking. Sometimes, or some days, it's light, a reminder of how far you've come. Other days, it's heavy, like walking with wet clothes you can't take off, but you keep walking anyway, because what else can you do? I used to think regret was the enemy. Now I think it's the teacher. It shows who you were and who you never want to be again. Maybe that's the point, not to forget, but to learn, to look at your mistakes and say, I see you, I forgive you, but you don't get to define me anymore. Sometimes I wonder if the people I've hurt ever think about me too, if their version of regret sounds like mine, if they ever whisper my name in the quiet, just to see how it feels again. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I've stopped waiting for closure from ghosts. The apology I needed was my own. Regret changes shape over time. At first, it's sharp, a stab in the chest. Then it softens, turns into a dull ache you can live with. And one day, it becomes a story, one you can tell without crying, but never without feeling. That's when you know you've healed. Not when it stops hurting, but when it stops controlling you. I still look back sometimes, not to punish myself, but to remember how far I've come from the person who didn't know how to choose better. And I think that's growth, to regret without self hate, to remember without reliving. Because regret is proof that we cared, but healing is proof that we've learned. If you're listening to this and something inside you aches when I speak, maybe you're carrying your own regret too. Maybe you wish you could go back and say what you never said, or stay when you walked away. Maybe you're haunted by your silence more than by anyone else's words. Let me tell you this: you can't fix the past, but you can honor it by choosing differently now. Say the thing, apologize, stop. Whatever it is, do it before someday becomes too late. Regret taught me something I'll never forget, that life doesn't wait for clarity, it moves, and it expects you to move with it. So I do, one word at a time, one truth at a time, turning pain into meaning, turning silence into something that speaks. This was Say It in Words Regret. Maybe it's not too late after all to say what should have been said.